Derek, you've seen the ratings for all of the wrestlers. How accurate do you think those are?
Oh, dude, let me talk to you. I got all the overalls up on my iPad right here because I'm all gimped up.
Nice.
But to me, it's a hot mess. It. I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, there's a couple of them that stand out that I'm glad to see. For instance, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was a 99 last year, now down to a 97. I love to see it. I know he's the tribal chief to a lot of people, but not to me.
No,
Okay.
nobody should be 99. That's insane.
No, I mean the only 99s you should have in game are create a character. Um, and even then, I think that's kind of pushing it because realism, let's come on. You don't want to win every match. You gotta lose some.
Yeah.
But on the opposite end of the spectrum, I'm looking at it and I'm going, I feel really bad for my boy R-Truth. They did him dirty, man. Did you see his overall?
Yeah. Yeah.
67, bro.
I know. And he's a legend.
Like what? Speaking of the legends, like Eddie Guerrero 97 was like a 76.
Yeah.
A 76 for Eddie Guerrero in 1997. Like if you were watching professional wrestling in 97 and you go back and you watch Eddie Guerrero, any of his matches in WCW, the dude was gold. He was just pure gold. I
Yeah.
automatically think of like Halloween Havoc, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero. That was a fucking clinic. And it was in the showcase when Rey Mysterio was in the showcase. What was that?
A
2
lot
years ago?
of his career literally was top notch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think there was any really downtime of Eddie Guerrero. So yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know. There's it's all over the place, and I feel like some of it's kind of fan service because there's a lot of people that would get butthurt if their favorite superstar was a lower overall, and then there's a lot of them that, in my opinion, they just don't make sense. Not at all. I kind of miss back in the day when your overalls would kind of max out around 94, and now we're pushing 96, 99, or 97. Last
Yeah.
year 99.
The ratings, they seem to be all over the place. There's a lot that just don't really make any sense. There's some that sort of make sense, but I mean, like, I think a lot of the ratings right now are also kind of based off of where they are at now in story in the real WWE. I mean, like, Cody Rhodes, he's got to be top notch because he has to be. He's literally the cover of WWE 2K24, the standard edition at least. And then
Right.
Roman Reigns, story wise, he is the head of the table. He's got to be the top rating. He's got to be the best, right? But then you've got people who may not have been super active. Like we're talking about R-Truth. He's super good. You know what I mean? And he should be in like literally the legends section of WWE, and they should have put him. They should give us 2 ratings, 2 attires, Ron Killings and R-Truth. You know what I mean? Because if you want to base it off of how good he used to be, or at least how maybe inactive he is now, then base off his ratings off 2 different attires. Because, I mean, if you're going to give us Eddie Guerrero from 97, you know what I mean? Give us 2 different attires, 2 different eras. You know what I mean? It's hard to base it off of. I think it's a hot mess. I guess it is what it is. I mean, I really honestly, we've played a lot of WWE 2K games, and I feel like a lot of the ratings don't matter. They really don't matter when it comes down to it.
I agree 100%. The overalls at the end of the day, they don't really play a huge role in the actual game, even AI versus AI.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you had like just test matches with AI versus AI? You drop an overall to 30 and you put him up against a guy that's got an overall of like say 92, and the overall 30 still gets the win in that match.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a 50-50 toss. The thing that really bothered me though,
The wrestling renders?
um well, yeah, some of the renders are kind of like, I mean, they obviously it's copy and pasted from last year, and I would have liked to see a new updated Hulk Hogan, but it is what it is. Uh,
No, yeah,
The
I agree. I've seen a lot. I've seen other people's YouTube videos and stuff, and they're posting little clips of the roster from the main page on the game, and a lot of the renders are old. Like we're talking about Seth Rollins, his render is literally the Messiah,
right, yeah.
and he's
And
not.
we haven't
We haven't seen that in a few years.
yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen the Messiah.
So I don't
Mon-
understand how that simple little thing, something we do on a daily basis when it comes to creating our efed and stuff, creating renders of our belts and shit, and our wrestlers in there. I don't understand why this wasn't an easy process to just give us a new updated picture. I mean,
Well, when you look at the large scope of this, at the end of the day, WWE, at least the 2K games, has a huge network in terms of community creations. And every year, the community creations is littered with tons of different renders, updated ones, new attires,
yeah,
just keeps it current and nice and fresh. And you would think a company that has a community that literally does all the work for them as far as the renders are concerned, you think you would use them. You would
yeah,
or you would be inspired by that and make sure that you're keeping it all up to date. And then some of them just look absolutely goofy. I mean, we got legends that are on the roster and their renders, I feel like they just don't do them justice. And we've been seeing that for the last few years. And to your point about our truth, I think having the classification on one wrestler of, hey, this is a guy on the main roster, and then this is his legend statistics. I don't feel like that's completely outside the realm of possibility. They do it with so many other different wrestlers.
yeah,
I mean, you get what with John Cena, for instance, last year. How many? We had like 12 John Cenas.
yeah,
Uh,
and they were all different ratings for his era of that attire. You know what I mean?
exactly. Right? And so if you if you take the overall out of that, you could have just as easily assigned all those attires to one specific character, one John Cena. But because they all had an overall that was different, matching where he was at in his career,
Mhm.
I think they could do the same thing with our truth. I feel like they did an injustice to Eddie Guerrero in 97. 76 is really low, especially considering the fact that Eddie Guerrero in 1997, in my opinion, was light years ahead of Logan Paul currently, who got a 90?
Yeah, man.
He got a fucking 90, and 97 Eddie Guerrero gets a 76.
Yeah, yeah,
I think I get 76 for my athletic ability just rolling out of the bed in the morning. I do a fucking like barrel roll, and
yeah,
slither to the door, try to get my coffee made. Yeah, that's like a 76. Come on.
yeah, yeah. It seems a bit lazy, but um,
Oh, absolutely.
is it too much to ask? I don't know. I don't think so, but I guess it is. It is what it is. The game comes out next week. I'm sure they're not going to change it, and I'm sure they don't think it's that big of a deal. But
I think
go ahead.
oh, sorry. I was going to say I think part of it is also maybe the studio also trolling the professional wrestlers, because you see the interviews where they got them right next to them and they're like, okay, you want to guess what your overall is going to be for this year? And you've seen it with the Miz, you've seen it with Ripley and all sorts of other wrestlers, right? And some of them like overshoot, some of them undershoot, right? And they're like, oh no, you lost 2 points this year, or
Yeah, yeah.
or you went up 2 points this year, right? So I wonder a little bit if it's not to just kind of like goof around with these guys and troll them a little bit. Because I mean, think of the content you could make walking up to Ron Killings and being like, dude, did you know? Did you see your overall?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some Twitter posts as well of the wrestlers not necessarily reacting too much, but just reposting, going, putting in a little emote, going in there, going, "What?" You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think they have a little bit of fun with it too. You know what I mean? And they don't take it too seriously either. Like I said, if they know, we know. If we know, they know that the ratings don't really matter. You know what I mean? And at the
Yeah.
end of the day, if you're doing an AI versus AI match, it's really up in the air. It's a 50-50 chance for either wrestler to win. You know, we've seen it many, many times where a weaker wrestler be put up with another wrestler, almost like a David and Goliath situation. And,
Yep.
you know, the David guy demolishes the Goliath guy. You know what I mean? And that always gets blown away. You know, sometimes you're just messing with the stats to see which works best. And, you know, you got a 74 and you got a 95 guy, and the 74 guy pulls it off, and you're like, okay, that shouldn't have happened. He should have got
Right.
creamed, but he didn't. So, again, at the end of the day, it's really just going to be 50-50. So I'm sure it's just a lighthearted rating at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, I try not to take it very seriously.
Yeah, yeah.